Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janabala Girid Paradhari. Gopi Janabala Girid Paradhari. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Well, this evening we're reading Bhagavad Gita. We're beginning chapter number 14, entitled The Three Modes of Material Nature. Text number 1. Is it on the board? Yes? Shri Bhagavan Vacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamutamam Yashgyadva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhim Ito Gata Shri Bhagavan Vacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamutamam Yashgyadva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhim Ito Gata Shri Bhagavan Vacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamutamam Yashgyadva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhim Ito Gata. What are marriages? Anyone? Vaishnavi? Shri Bhagavan Vacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Param, transcendental. Bhuya, again. Pravakshyami, I shall speak. Jnananam, of all knowledge. Jnanam, knowledge. Uttamam, the supreme. Yat, which. Yatva, knowing. Munaya, the sages. Sarve, all. Param, transcendental. Siddhim, perfection. Ita, from this world. Gata, attained. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. Are we having translation? Is it? Do we need translation? It's going on. No? Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. From the 7th chapter to the end of the 12th chapter, Sri Krishna in detail reveals the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, the Lord himself is further enlightening Arjuna. If one understands this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation, he will come to an understanding of devotional service. In the 13th chapter, it was clearly explained that by humbly developing knowledge, one may possibly be freed from material entanglement. It has also been explained that it is due to association with the modes of nature that the living entity is entangled in this material world. Now, in this chapter, the Supreme Personality explains what those modes of nature are, how they act, how they bind, and how they give liberation. The knowledge explained in this chapter is proclaimed by the Supreme Lord to be superior to the knowledge given so far in other chapters. By understanding this knowledge, various great sages attained perfection and transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord now explains the same knowledge in a better way. This knowledge is far, far superior to all other processes of knowledge thus far explained. And knowing this, many attain perfection. Thus, it is expected that one who understands this 14th chapter will attain perfection. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksur Unmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Nitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radhe Vrindavan Ishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Sarasati Devi Gauravani Precharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. This final section of the Bhagavad Gita is focusing more on the three modes of nature. We will hear quite a bit about the modes of nature in the course of this final section of the Bhagavad Gita. All right, Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 chapters in the whole Bhagavad Gita. The first section is mainly about karma yoga. Karma yoga means by action one can come to devotional service. And then the middle section, chapter 7 to chapter 12, are focusing more on devotion, the path of bhakti. Now, this final section, beginning from chapter 13 up to 8, we will hear about how by knowledge one can come to devotion. So the cultivation of knowledge, particularly in relation to the modes of nature, the material energy is made up of 3 modes, right? It's like 3 colors. If you're an artist or you're accustomed to paint, though we use colors, you can begin with 3 colors, right? Red, blue, and yellow. And from the combination of these 3 colors, you can mix any number of variety of colors. You can mix 8,400,000 different colors. And that's how many different species of life there are. So the modes of nature are like that. There are 3 modes of nature. And we're in this material world where the modes of nature are very active. So Lord Krishna wants to explain to us about the modes of nature, about how they work, how we get entangled in this material energy. And in the course of this chapter, Lord Krishna will also describe how we can get free from the modes of nature. So Krishna consciousness is a process. It's like a science, sometimes we will say. Science means there is theory and there's also application of the theory, the practical demonstration of the process. So in Krishna consciousness we have also philosophy, we have the theory, and we have also the application of that theory. Sometimes we will call these things as sambandha, meaning knowledge of the relationship, and then abhidaya is the process by which we apply that knowledge, how to practice devotional service. We practice according to the principles of devotion, as they are described in the philosophy. We have to understand that the material energy is not independent, but the material energy is controlled. There's a controller behind this material energy. The Supreme Lord is the ultimate controller, and the material nature moves under his direction. And this was understood by Srila Vyasadeva eventually, not initially, but later, after he got instruction from his guru, Sri Narada Muni. Then Srila Vyasadeva sat down in meditation, and he saw the Supreme Lord, and he saw also the material energy. And he could see how the material energy was moving under the full control of the Lord. In the Brahma Samhita, the prayers offered by Lord Brahma describes how the material energy is under the control of Mother Durga. Durga. The word Durga. Dur means very hard, very difficult, and Ga, it's the residence. So very hard to get out from the residence of the material world. So that's Mother Durga's job, to keep us in the material world. It's her service to Lord Krishna to bewilder the minds of the living entities so that they will stay and in the material world, under the control of the material energy. So material energy is the Lord's inferior energy. It's not something which the Lord is particularly attracted to. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna described about the elements of the material energy, how they are his separated material energy. Right? In the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, Krishna said, Bhumer apo nalo vayu kam mano buddhir eva cha ahankara iti yamme bina prakriti astada. That earth, water, fire, air, and ether, along with mind, intelligence, and ego, these 8 things comprise the separated material energy of the Lord. So the material energy it's separated from the Lord. Prabhupada gave the example. He said, just like sometimes man and woman may be married, but somehow the relationship is not very suitable, they're not getting along very well, they may separate. They may go away from each other. So they're still married, so the relationship is there, but they're separated from each other. The same way, the material energy is separated from the Lord. The Lord resides in his own abode. His own abode is the spiritual world. This place here, this world, we said this is under the control of Durga. It's not the pleasant place. Sometimes we described it as to be like the prison house, right? So people in the prison, it's not a very comfortable place. They're not put there to enjoy. They're put in the prison as a punishment. So here we all are. We're in this prison house of the material world. And our prison uniform is the material body. And sometimes the prisoners, there's some chains on them so that they cannot escape. So the same way, we are also chained by the modes of material energy. The 3 modes, the material energy, they're like chains which keep us in this material world. Chains of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Sometimes people only know the words rajas and tamas. They're the prominent modes. The mode of passion is rajas, and the mode of tamas is ignorance. So people, especially in India, they know these 2 words very well, rajas and tamas. And they're very powerful shackles which keep us in the bondage of the material existence. So Lord Krishna is going to explain to Arjuna and to all of us about the modes of material nature. Understanding the modes of material nature, we should understand how to be situated in these modes. And we should understand how we can liberate ourselves from the modes of nature also. We have to be in the material energy. We want to try to come to the mode of goodness. We don't want to be influenced by passion and ignorance all the time. We want to rise up to the mode of goodness. And then from the mode of goodness, then it will be easier to go on to come to the level of pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva. And in pure, that of course is the level of devotional service. Pure devotional service is above the modes. It's rendered on the transcendental platform. So we have to come to that level of Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness, above the modes. But to come up to that level, it's better we first come to the mode of goodness and then go on to Shuddha Sattva. It's a long way up to come from the mode of tamas or rajas and to go all the way up to the transcendental level. That's a big jump up. So we have to come up gradually, and we have to come up, try to come up, keep ourselves up on the level of goodness. Sattva gun, on the mode of good. We'll be, in the days to come, we're going to discuss these different modes, and we'll hear about the influence of each of the modes. But the mode of goodness in nature, the main thing about the mode of goodness is that one is situated with knowledge, and also one enjoys happiness. That is the prominent feature of the mode of goodness. Mode of passion feature is desire, an intense activity to fulfill the desires. And the mode of ignorance is sinful activities and laziness and all kinds of acts of irreligiosity. So the modes of nature is, we should understand this is Krishna's energy. So that's why it's very difficult to overcome. Actually, Lord Krishna had already described how we can overcome the modes of nature. In the 7th chapter, again, he had said, Devi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. He's saying, this material energy of mine, the material energy means the three modes of nature. He said, it is very difficult to overcome. Duratyaya, very difficult to overcome. But then he goes on to say, Mameva ye prapajante mayam etam taranti. That one who surrenders to me, he can easily go beyond it. So Lord Krishna had described there how to get free of the modes of nature, that we have to surrender to Krishna. Of course, that also is not such an easy thing to do. We talk about it, but to actually put it into practice is more difficult. Anyway, Lord Krishna describing about material energy, and he's talking also about how we have to understand these modes of nature by philosophical speculation. So I remember one time, there was this one family in London. The father and mother had both been initiated by Srila Prabhupada. They were very early disciples of Srila Prabhupada. The man's, his name was Gupta, and he was living in London with his wife, and they had 3 sons. So anyway, the father and mother were very nice devotees, very good devotees, and the father ended up going to India and helping Prabhupada, and he was the one, he got the land where the Krishna Balaram temple is. The lady who was donating it, she wasn't sure if she should give it or not. She was having some doubts. And so she said, we will ask Radharani. She said, we will ask Radharani. And, she folded up some papers, and one paper had yes, and one paper had no. Something like, anyway, she had some method. And she asked the man, you have to pick which one does Radharani want, And so he picked one and said, Radharani said yes. And so, but fortunately, he picked the right paper and we got the land, but it was pretty close. But anyway, he did that nice service. Anyway, what happened was this man, I said he had 3 sons. So his oldest son, he was a very clever young man. He actually ended up going to university. He went to Oxford, and he studied in Oxford. To get into Oxford is not very easy. You have to really be a good student. Anyway, he got in there and studied at Oxford. But what happened, he was still at school, and he had read the Bhagavad Gita, and he had read about where Prabhupada said, you have to understand this by philosophical speculation. And so he wrote to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, why is it you say we have to use speculation? You condemn speculation, and you say we should not speculate about things. But here you say we have to understand this by philosophical speculation. So Prabhupada was very happy to get this question. He said, this young boy is very good, he's very intelligent, you must take good care of him, and he will grow up to be a good devotee. And he did, he's a devotee, he's there in India, he's serving nicely. Anyway, Prabhupada replied to him and explained to him, he said, yes, he said, philosophical speculation means on the basis of scripture, you have to understand this point. Speculation is wrong if you simply try to discuss everything on the mind. If you simply, on the basis of your own mind, you try to understand things and decide how things are. That is not good. That kind of speculation, that is what we call manodharma, the business of the mind, the speculation of the mind. So that is discouraged. But what we do need to do is to understand everything on the basis of scripture. By studying Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures like that, then we should come to the conclusion, and we can understand exactly about how the modes of nature, how this material energy is working, and we can understand how we can get free from these modes of nature and come to the level of pure devotional service. So like this, Lord Krishna is saying also, he said, this knowledge is the best of all knowledge. Now, earlier in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna had spoken about the process of knowledge, and he had said there, Bahunam Gyanmanamante Gyanavam Mam Prapajyante Vasudev Savam Iti Samahatma Sadurlabaha. Lord Krishna is saying, after many births and deaths, one who is actually in knowledge, Gyanavam Mam Prapajyanti, one who is in knowledge surrenders to me. Such a soul is very rare. So Lord Krishna was describing there the process of knowledge. You can understand it's not very easy. The process of knowledge is not very easy. Bahunam Gyanmanam, and after many births and deaths. In other words, it's going to take lifetimes to come to that perfectional level. By knowledge, it's going to take a long time, many births. And Such a soul is very rare. It's rarely achieved. So try to understand how difficult the process of knowledge is. Just cultivating this knowledge by philosophical speculation, that it's not going to be very quick. You won't make rapid progress. It will take some time. So Lord Krishna was, earlier he had explained that, but here again he's saying that this knowledge is the best of all knowledge, that of different kinds of knowledge, this knowledge is the best. And we will see this. What is this knowledge? That this knowledge concludes that it said ultimately we have to take up devotional service. And simply by engaging in devotional service, then we can transcend the modes of nature and come to the spiritual platform. Simply by engaging in bhakti yoga, meaning simply by hearing and chanting, remembering, by serving, particularly, doing service. In this way, we can come to the transcendental level and we can get free from the modes of nature. So, the process of knowledge, if we just simply take to the path of jnana, cultivating knowledge, it takes a long time. It's very difficult. In the 12th chapter, Lord Krishna was asked by Arjuna that of the two processes, which is better? Those who simply worship you directly, or those who take to the path of knowledge and try to cultivate an understanding of the Supreme by philosophical discrimination. So Lord Krishna said, Klesho dikataras teshyam avyakta sakta chetasam. That he said, those who are attached to the avyakta, avyakta means the unmanifested, he said for them, advancement is very troublesome. It is very difficult for them to make progress. So Lord Krishna explains that those who are attached directly to Krishna and to the service of the form of Krishna, they can progress very quickly, very rapidly by bhakti. Devotional service is like going in the lift. You take the lift up, you quickly come to the top of the building. But if you walk up the stairs, it takes some time. So devotional service is recommended by Lord Krishna. That to be attached to the avyakta, to the unmanifest, it's very difficult. Because we have no conception of what is the form of the Lord. To be attached to the unmanifest, what is unmanifest? We don't have experience of the unmanifest. So it's very difficult for us to absorb the mind in simply thinking of the unmanifest. But we know what is the form of the Lord. We know Lord Krishna's form. We know exactly what is the form of Lord Krishna. We can describe it, we can draw it, we can remember. It's very nice for us to contemplate the Lord's form. But to try to contemplate the avyakta, the unmanifested, that is very difficult. So very troublesome trying to make advancement. But if we approach the form of Krishna and chant his name and worship Krishna, then very quickly we can make progress. So in this way, Lord Krishna is going to explain to Arjuna about the three modes of nature. We have to understand the nature of these different modes, how they are acting on us. They're acting on everyone. You may say, no, I'm a Brahmin, or I'm a devotee, I'm transcendental. But it's not so easy to be transcendental. And in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear how devotional service can also be done in the modes of nature. Lord Kapila describes about devotional service in the mode of ignorance, and in the mode of passion, and in the mode of goodness. It's not pure devotion. It's colored by the modes of nature. So we want to avoid that association with the material energy. We want to get free from the material energy. We want to come to the transcendental platform. So when we understand the modes of nature, how they are, how they act, we're more aware of when they're influencing us. That often devotees are not actually aware how they're being influenced by the mode of passion and ignorance. So it's very good for us to hear about these things, how they are acting on us. We want to be aware of it, and then we can take steps to avoid that contact with the modes of nature. So in this way, Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna about the modes of nature. And he's going to explain in detail everything we need to know. All right, are there any questions? Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for this nice inspiration, nice explanation. Maharaj, my question would be, you mentioned on the beginning the Shuddha Sattva platform. And my question is regarding to this. Actually, we know from the scripture, especially or the Bhagavad Gita, that the soul is actually not really the actor. He's not acting. The material modes are acting. And actually, if you are in devotional service, if you practice devotional service, on which platform is that actually? Could we say that on the Shuddha Sattva platform, like Krishna is acting through us or guiding us and we are so-called doing the actions? Actually, it's not the material modes anymore. Or how we can understand this step to the Shuddha Sattva platform, where the modes are not really active on us and acting through us.
Well, I did say that definitely we may be doing devotional service in the modes, and often we are. We're doing devotional service in the modes. Sometimes ignorance, sometimes passion, sometimes goodness. To come to the level of pure devotion, it's a challenge. The Shuddha Sattva level means pure devotion. So what the nature of pure devotion, it's a very high level of devotion. Anya bilasita sunyam jnana karma janavritam anukuyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttamam. Right? Pure devotion is described by Rupa Goswami to be without any desire for fruitive gain or for philosophical speculation. In other words, fruitive gain, we want something. But Srila Prabhupada said, devotional service means no business. When you do business, you give the goods, you want to get paid for the goods. You expect to get payment. But devotional service is just to give service without any expectation of anything in return. We just simply want service, and we don't expect anything in return. So that is the mood of pure devotion. Now, not everybody has that mood. And other people, they may not want something material, but they may want to get liberation. So that is also not the mood. Somebody's thinking, I don't want to come back in this world. I want to get free. I don't want to take birth again. Krishna should deliver me. I'm a devotee. So that is material desire. You want liberation, you're only thinking about yourself. Devotional service is not selfish. Devotional service should be selfless. That we don't want to get anything for ourselves. We don't even want liberation. We know Lord Chaitanya said in the Shikshastikam, I only want devotional service birth after birth. So he didn't ask Krishna for liberation. He just simply asked Krishna, give me devotional service, birth after birth. And similarly, Prahlad Maharaj was asked by Lord Narasimhadev, what would you like? Prahlad, take a benediction from me. But Prahlad said, I am not a businessman. I just simply want service. And so Lord Narasimhadev, of course, was happy that Prahlad had that mood of pure devotion. So this is the mood of the devotee, pure devotee. That we don't want anything. Not only do we not want anything, we don't even want liberation, and we just simply want service continuously. Right? Anya bilasita sunyam jnana karmaja. Anukoyena Krishnanu. Anukoyena Krishnanu. I mean, uninterrupted service. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know, like they have these stores which are open all the time, convenience stores, 24/7, right? They never close. So devotional service should be like that. Of course, it doesn't mean we shouldn't take rest. You know, we have to take some rest. We have to keep the body healthy. Lord Chaitanya could do like that. Lord Chaitanya told the devotee, we won't sleep anymore at night. We'll just come and have kirtan all night. Right? And Lord Chaitanya would have kirtan the whole night. He said, why should we waste so much time sleeping? Let's just have kirtan all night. And they would, the whole night, they would chant the holy name. And so devotional service, it's meant to be like that, uninterrupted and continuous for the service of Krishna. And we only serve Krishna. And of course we can serve also Krishna's different incarnations, Krishna's different expansions. But we don't serve the demigods. We're only serving Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna's expansions. So that is pure devotion. It's not that we can just serve everyone and anyone, but we want to serve Krishna and everything in relation to Krishna. Okay, any other question? Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for the lecture. As I read this purport to this verse, I saw that Prabhupada a few times wrote that this knowledge, this chapter is much, much more elevated than all previous chapters, or knowledge in previous chapters. And I'm a little bit, I'm asking myself why, because in the previous chapters there also was mentioned Bhakti Yoga and even universal form, and here is like just 3 modes of material nature. Sounds not so elevated. So why is it higher?
Mm-hmm. Why is this knowledge the best of all knowledge? Because this knowledge is telling us about how we can get free of the material energy. This knowledge is making it very clear for us how to overcome the material energy and how to come to the transcendental platform. So it's the best of all the knowledge which Krishna has given. Of course, Krishna has given a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of knowledge, but to actually tell us how to get out from this world, to get free, it's the best of all knowledge about the modes of nature. That is the point. This is the best of all knowledge about the modes of nature. Yes? Any other questions? Yes, Brahma? Well, Prabhu has the mic.
You mentioned that there are 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, and I guess most of them are very perceptible to us, but ether is very subtle. So my question is, what is ether? What is ether?
Ether is the absence of air. When everything's taken away, then whatever left, that is ether. It's in the ether. You take away the air, you take away the water, take everything away, you're left with ether. It's another space. That is ether. It's the subtlest element. Within ether, there is the element of sound. Sound can be vibrated in ether. So the whole creation comes about from ether. It begins with sound. And sound is vibrated in the ether. If you check in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila's teaching, Sankhya Yoga, he's explaining about creation, the different elements. Not only third canto, their second canto also describes creation, several places, but creation is like that. Creation comes from subtle to gross. Begins with on the subtle platform with sound. And with sound, then there is also the ear. And the sense of hearing. This is the beginning of the creation. Begins with sound. And Prabhupada heard a statement from the Bible. There was one Bible they were reading. It said, "In the beginning was the Word." Have you heard that before? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. And Prabhupada said, yes. He said, we agree. He said, this is the Vedic teaching also, that in the beginning was the Word. There has to be sound, and the whole creation comes about from sound. And sometimes the scientists, they will say, Om, it's the beginning sound. It's the transcendental vibration, Om. The whole creation comes from that. So this is the process of creation, beginning with sound. And sound is vibrated in ether. Ether is the finest element. Yes? Any other question? You had a question? Yes? Yes, Prabhu?
Maharaj, you quoted this verse, this material modes of nature are very difficult to overcome, but someone who has surrendered unto me can easily overcome it. So when we realize that we are conditioned, then what does it mean? Could you define how those who have surrendered unto me, how do we surrender unto Krishna to get over the material modes?
Yes, you have to be guided by Guru. We get guidance from the Guru, can guide us how to surrender to Krishna. Someone who's already surrendered, they can guide us in the process of surrender. So that guidance. Jai Shri Nrsimha Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Gaur Premanande. So we will have Aarti now. Srila Prabhupada ki.